been keeping up with my content, I covered that the president of Argentina was affiliated with a meme coin hours after it happened. Well, so much has been unfolding over the last few days. It's going to blow your mind. It tracks all the way to huge launches like Melania Trump. It tracks back to Dave Portnoy. It tracks back to other insiders that you possibly have seen on YouTube or on Twitter on your timeline. And there is so much more. Even other countries are all wrapped up in this one giant scam that this one particularly extracted $100 million from the ecosystem. We're going to view all the latest information going on with this LIBRA case and so much more. So with all that being said, let's dial in. I also failed to mention in the intro, a huge part of all this is that Coffeezilla actually got Hayden, one of the main ones that's behind this token and currently the face of this token as of right now, on an interview last night and posted it to his YouTube. You can go check that out, of course, on Coffeezilla's Voidzilla YouTube channel. We're going to look at some clips directly from the interview right here that are pretty important to really deciphering what's going on here. First and foremost, Coffee's asked him about like if it's okay, like why did you guys snipe the token? His answer was incredible. Listen to it.
So, but if you launch the coin, isn't it unfair for you to snipe the coin?
So I would say no, and I would say that for a couple different reasons. From the standpoint of sniping, most of the time when we're sniping, we're attempting to avoid other snipers getting in, right? So whether that's, and by the way.
So, but if you,
okay,
if you launch the coin.
So basically his answer was, it's okay for us to snipe because we're sniping before the other snipers. Keep in mind, they still have $100 million that they don't know what to do with. One of the things that they're currently doing with it, just for one individual that we know of, is Dave Portnoy. Essentially what happened with Dave Portnoy is, he is one of the most honest people about this whole situation and just on Twitter right now. Now, I'm not saying that makes him a good guy. I'm not saying that clears him from all the unethical things that him and his team have been involved with. I'm just saying one of the things that he's done is he has been transparent about this whole process. So from the very beginning, Portnoy was saying they offered to send me tokens. And basically I said no, and I bought on my own accord. And he bought like, I don't know, 10 minutes after the tweet or something like that. As you see right here, he's saying that it came out of his own personal money that he bought with. But what came out next was the real kicker. He got a refund from Hayden. He sent $5 million in to buy this meme coin because he had information on it. It didn't go the way that everybody planned on. So out of the $100 million that was extracted from the ecosystem, $5 million went to pay back Dave Portnoy. So this is like a huge snowball effect of, it leaves you a lot of questions. What are the other big influencers that on that interview he admitted to having other influencers for the marketing purposes? Who were they and what coins were they, you know, what coins were they sent? Were they sent the LIBRA inside coins to be able to dump on the public? Also, like what other influencers got these refunds back? I think Dave Portnoy probably is the only one as of right now, but like, you know, that leaves other people like, I sent my money, I want a refund back. And whatever your opinion is on like whether, you know, they were gambling, they sent it, you know, they kind of knew the risk and everything at hand. It feels kind of weird when $5 million goes to an influencer for being a degenerate and throwing their money in when the average person probably will never see that money again. So this really created a snowball effect into the next phase of this whole, one of the biggest insider trading scams that we have seen to date. As I mentioned earlier, one of the craziest things here too is that we found out that it's actually also linked to Melania. If you go and look, Hayden actually publicly admits that this is part of Melania Trump's meme coin. He was a part of it. And then the same insiders, and it has the wallets right here on this screen that I'm showing, the same insiders that were insiders of Melania were also the same insiders of LIBRA. So these people that knew about both these launches either bought or were allocated millions of tokens upon launch and dumped on the open market, basically taking from retail. And this is like, again, one of the biggest insider schemes that we've seen. Now, one of the big questions here is, and here, look, this one linked is an insider that cashed out 87 million on LIBRA's launch day. So one of the biggest things is, who are these insiders? Are these people that we know? Now, this next section, there's a lot to talk about here. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and some of it's going to be, I'm really just giving you information for you to make your own decisions. Personally, I don't really want to go witch hunting because I don't want, this could be seriously like a big deal for accusations if people were not involved. But I do just kind of want to look at some of these things that were thrown around here. I don't care about Solana Steve or whatever. I don't really know him nor Jake, but they do all have a group photo with the main guy, Hayden, right here. This is that's Mark Cooler. Again, I'm not trying to throw these guys under the bus. These are just, people that clearly know this dude. Another group of influencers that's being thrown under the bus, I actually really genuinely don't believe had any sort of affiliation with, and I could be wrong, but the whole LA vape cabal, as people refer to them as, or I don't even know, is Rasmer, I guess. He's part of this. He's the one that shared earlier today, basically the guy, Hayden, being involved, saying he doesn't know anybody in the LA vape cabal.
People are coming for the LA vape cabal guys. They have no idea what's going on. Like,
I talked to Banks last night. He said he never heard of you. He said he never heard of you.
I've never met them. I think maybe I've met one of them once. I don't know. People are coming for.
So with that being said, he's basically saying he doesn't know, anybody from that crew, which would be Banks, Thread Guy, Frank, Rasmer, OG, all of them. I genuinely don't believe these guys were involved. My guess would be they know enough people to where they knew the token was going to launch the same day that it did. Probably didn't know exactly when it did, but that was a lot of insider groups that probably knew that. I doubt these people had allocations. Even though Nick made a snarky comment here, one thing I want to note is Nick does seem to have some type of insider information as far as like what's going on here, and he's been updating people. Well, he even said that he doesn't believe that Rasmer was involved in anything sketchy. He's one of the best people in LA Vape Cabal, and Nick is one that would call people out, as he has done many times, if he thinks somebody is directly involved. We have so much more to talk about, but as we're right here, I have to point this out. This is crazy doubling down right now. So despite the president, Javier, supporting this meme coin on launch, he deleted the post later that night, and then the whole chart crashed. As of today, at the time of creating and uploading this video, somebody made a how to buy guide in Spanish, and the president reposted it. And as far as I know, it's still reposted, unless it was very recently deleted. And so this is just like a big doubling down on, I wonder if he did delete it. This is just a big doubling down on all the chaos that's happening right now. Like, after everything, he's going to repost a how to buy guide. Well, this gets even worse, because upon that how to buy guide, people traded before and after. This gets even worse because upon that how to buy guide, front running the tweet, insiders again, 3 wallets went and bought Libra before the repost. He then reposted it, and they cashed out in profit again. I mean, these people will know what they're doing, and regular people are just getting destroyed upon this knowledge. We can look at the chart in real time using BullX Neo. You can only have access to this through partners. I'm tracking one of Dave Portnoy's insiders. He actually bought the top of that. It looks like he bought the top of that fake pump due to the repost or whatever. It is up to 446 million, bouncing back from 300 million right now. If you want this program, it's going to be in the info section of this video, but we have a lot more to talk about. So this is one of the best TLDRs that I've read, and this is even before some of the recent information came out. I think this information was as of pretty much early this morning. But basically, I'm not going to go through all this. The launch, we've already talked about the launch extensively in the last video. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. Basically talks about like how disastrous it was and how they're extracting a one-sided LP and all of that. KOL involvement is a somewhat new one, and that's kind of what we've been talking about, how there are several KOLs, the one that were paid to promote the token. Dave Portnoy was one of those, but he was reimbursed in his allocation, and he was also reimbursed for his trading loss on the token. And so apparently there's an influencer list that's supposed to come out on Kelsey Ventures, or as partners soon. Somebody's going to leak it, I'm sure. Lots of rumors, but nobody knows how. Next is the section that we also talked about, the Coffeezilla interview. And some of the things is that Davis's doc's living in LA. He does admit, as we watch that clip, to sniping the supply, as we just watched earlier in this video. He's using the 110 million that they have right now in negotiations. He's offering tip-offs. And I mean, it basically goes on, and going back to the Melania and to the Trump. And it even goes even further. I have a post saved somewhere right here to where apparently there's an article right here that even talks about how they were also working with a team for that was in contact with the Nigerian presidential team. So this was a huge, like, they just wanted to keep going and keep going. And the thing about being on chain is you can only get so far before people figure out what you're up to. But this was actually further in the process, and we could have seen this maybe even in the coming weeks. But we're talking mainly about the meat and potatoes here of what was going on. Major Sol platforms have received criticism for this. Meteora, Jupiter, and Moonshot. As far as everything that I've read so far, it looks like while they might have known sort of that the token was coming, they had no insider involvement. Jupiter, the only thing they did was I read this like long post they wrote about it, which was they verified the token on Jupiter, which makes sense because there's a lot of fake tokens. And while this is still a scammy token that's a pump and dump, they would rather you at least buy the one that has real volume that's real instead of one that was launched is at a 50K market cap or whatever and is going to immediately send you to zero. So that was their only involvement, which makes sense, allegedly. And then Meteora and Moonshot are, I think, kind of similar. Basically, they're going to be commenting on it soon if they have not already. Sol ecosystem got smashed, down 10% since launch because, I mean, millions of dollars left. Lots of trust was broken. KOLs are kind of in hiding right now. Yeah, I mean, even like I was looking at MLG, which I did buy a little bit earlier today. MLG got crushed because a lot of the LA Vape cabal that we were talking about was behind this token, was behind MLG. You can see Frank buying right here. I thought he retired this wallet. But yeah, I was involved with this a while back as far as like buying and selling it goes. But regardless of that, a lot of these Solana tokens that like had influencer support are getting crushed right now because even the influencers, in my opinion, that are like, you know, that like aren't involved with this, I mean, they're not wanting to like get out and promote things right now because everything is just like on fire. So I don't really blame them. Just to kind of put some faces here, we have, of course, the Hayden. He's the one that keeps on talking to everybody. We have the president of Argentina. This is Hayden's like little like talk he did yesterday. These are some of the wallets linked all the way back to a Melania Trump launch and from this launch. This is the chart of Libra hitting a peak and insiders cashing out the 87 million, Libra officially being erased. So this is pretty much catching you up to where we're currently at and how everything's on fire with who's involved, what repercussions are going to be. People are still doubling down, still seeing reposts from the president. Coffeezilla released an interview. I'm sure Coffeezilla is probably going to do a full thing on this on his main channel, I'm sure. This is one of the biggest scams that's happened in the crypto space. It's not good for the space as a whole. Things are kind of derailing, and I hope that we can see a soon recovery. If you made it to the end of my last video, I leave keywords at the end of every video, and I really appreciate all of you that somehow make it and somehow hear me rant for this long. But the keyword was 87 mil, and so many of you got there with Auto Nemesis, Web3 Unk, 80. We got John Bolter, Justin Dye, the Popi, Fabio, and I had a couple people on Twitter as well. I know Abdullah and many more. At the end of this video, all I want you to leave down below in the comments is KOL, and you can just leave it at that. But if you want to do a little bonus, I want to know what KOL means to you, and I'll see you guys next video.